To agree to disagree, I think that's a pretty strong concept. In that way, you still respect one and the other, and yeah, you leave the other in power through tapping into his own knowledge and background and perspectives, and you also stay in power. And meanwhile, you can continue your project or whatever you are doing or joining your training. Um, and I think it's very powerful to sometimes have a sense if there's a certain degree of consensus. And it's not about having consensus for projects or co creation to work, of course. As a facilitator or executive, it's pretty fine when you notify that there's different opinions in your team and they start to agree to disagree. However, they know where one and the other is coming from. And how can you pull that off, that respect or this likability towards one and the other, although you do not agree? Well, a simple exercise is, for example, to make a skill out of, the way in the extensiveness of agreement. So, for example, not agree at all, not agree, average, agree a little bit, and totally agree. Or you can work with hearts or stars or rate in any way or shape you like. And it's nice when you do this with papers and you put them on the floor so you really make use of the space and people keep on walking. Because as I mentioned before in other videos, movements do make your brain active and makes your brain connect in new ways in order to get new perspectives and also insights. So sitting down all day or sitting or in a meeting and ask people to if they agree or not, you actually invite them to think from their left brain and be analytical about it. While when you make them move, literally walking around, for example, by walking around, you create new ways of thinking. And therefore, of course, you get other outcomes. So when you have spread, for example, 5 sheets around the space, that's a skill from not agreeing at all to totally agree. And you state certain statements or a hypothesis, you can really get a feel of where people are standing and what knowledge is already in the room, or even better sometimes, what emerging knowledge is in the room. Because there's a lot of things that people do not know, they do not know. So it's not they're being naive on purpose, but sometimes they are having some missing information that you might have or their peers might have, and this is very essential for them to obtain in order to get a clear picture and to have an opinion about a certain statement. So I did this exercise multiple times during trainings for facilitators and trainers and coaches and executives to train with these skills. And it was really nice to see that by knowing where people are standing, they are able to explain themselves. Meanwhile, they listen to the others, and you can actually frame the statements in new ways. So if there's a statement like, the work-life balance in our company is terrible, so a very strong statement, and people are disagreeing or agreeing a little bit, you can ask, okay, how can we frame the statements in order for you to find one and the other and to make the work and life balance more okay, in the middle, more neutral, or maybe the best, however you would like the outcome to be. And maybe it is the work-life balance during the month of January is terrible, but maybe during other months when there's not such a high peak in the organization, the life and work balance is pretty okay. Or the life and work balance is maybe terrible for some people because they have to work at home and they don't like it, and others do like it. So there's a lot of information you can gather by this exercise of a degree of consensus. And I'm very curious in your work practice as a facilitator, trainer, or leader of transformation, how do you make sure that people feel allowed to agree to disagree? And what do you do next? I'm very curious how you deal with that.